Welcome to In the Box Seat, wherever you're watching, anywhere in the world. We're certainly getting a bit of feedback that we are getting a lot of international people watching In the Box Seat, so welcome to you and welcome to Angle Park. On the program today, we've got a few winners. We've also got an interview with one of the originals of greyhound racing in South Australia, and I talk about Terry Carlin, who's been in the game since he was a teenager, and as a matter of fact, back in the 60s, went to America training greyhounds, so a real trailblazer. That comes up on the program later. We've had a good week in greyhound racing. The Breeders' Prelude, we had the final here last Thursday night, and Matthew Payne had a good change of luck when Goosebumps won that one. I must say I was impressed by the third place getter, Hannah McLaren, who I think is going to make a pretty fair sort of a middle distance dog at some stage. We also saw last week a good young pup set the drag for John Spulder, a Big Daddy Cool Blue dog who's showing a lot of potential. He hasn't run time yet, but he certainly is showing everyone he's got a real burst of speed, and he may well put it together. And Yvonne King had a great midweek last week. She had 4 runners on the day, 3 winners and a second. It's one of those days you dream about. They could easily have gone home with 4 winners. Let's have a look at racing nationally, and we've got some of the big ones coming up interstate soon. We've got the Rookie Rebel, sponsored by Macro Meats. That's coming up, of course, on February the 19th. And South Australia likely to be represented by Stack'em Flat and, of course, last week's great winner, Dark Duo. The Zoom Top, of course, on the same program. That's the long distance one. They're both at the Meadows. And, of course, the Australian Cup is coming up. The heats are on the 19th. And then, of course, it continues on the 26th and March the 5th for the best 56 greyhounds that are nominated. Upcoming events in South Australia, we've got the SA St Ledger getting underway next Wednesday. That's a week away. And of course, that's a series of heats, semi-finals, and culminating in the final on March the 10th. And that's worth $14,000. Well, the Honeys have got some tips for us in a moment or two, but we're suggesting for the Wednesday that Delightful Bond might be a winner, race 5, number 4. A greyhound that's been around the mark, and this does look a nice race for it and could well be a winner there. And also, a dog I think will make the grade at the middle and long distance, and that's race 10, number 2, Night Raider. I saw this dog flash home at Gawler one day, came from a hopeless position on the turn and just failed to win, and he does look as though he needs at least 500, probably a little bit more. A dog to watch there, race 10, number 2, Night Raider. Now, the Honeys Hot Tips, Angle Park on the 17th, race 5, number 1, What Price George. This is the dog that knocked off Calden Mayhem at Gawler and should go right on with the job. First 4 from the Honeys, race 5, 1, 8, 4 and 3. Also race 6, number 1, Bar Fridge, the Piri dog. This dog is really setting up a great reputation. He looks one out of the box, and from box 1 he should go extremely well. And the Honeys have come up with the first 4 of 1, 6, 4 and 3 for race 6. Gawler this weekend, we've got a twilight meeting, and the racing's been extra good there lately. Some good dogs getting there, and certainly well worth going to. Well, I've got a few to watch for you. Matter of fact, Hannah McLaren on the Wednesday meeting, race 1, number 2, should make short work of these. Now Thursday, well, this is a night for box 1. There look to be about 6 box 1 certainties. Kicking off with race 2, number 1, Adjust. Ran a terrific race recently over the 600 and comes back to his favourite box. It should win. And then if you really wanted to, you could go for a big all up. Races 5, 6, 7 and 8. Just put number 1 in. You're looking at What Price George, you're looking at Bar Fridge, you're looking at General Anders, and you're looking at Gable the Flash. All coming out of the red. Why not just spend your money on the quadrella and take it to 10 or 15 times? Might be the way to go. Of course, we've got the in the box seat tip, and that is Gable the Flash. We'll make that one the in the box seat tip for the weekend, and that is race 8, number 1. Terry Carlin, next up on In the Box Seat. Our trainer guest on In the Box Seat this week is Terry Carlin. And as I mentioned before in the lead-up,
He's been in the game a hell of a long time. I said 60s, but probably even 50s, Terence.
August 57, Laurie and I got our first dog from Bub Williams. It's by Tura Lewis, his name was, and we ran that from 57, and we've been in it ever since.
I was only thinking the other day about those really strong characters of the game, and Bub Williams was one of them. Jimmy Attrell, and then you had blokes like Sid Irish from out Northway and the mob at Mintero, and they were stalwarts of the greyhounds for a long, long time.
And Jack Vorza as well, who came onto the track and did okay as well. He's one of him and John Owen were two that really converted from coursing to the track and did very well.
Yeah, and don't forget old Martin Mildy and Slattery's and Michael Lanny's. You could go on forever.
Well, every town up had a coursing meeting, didn't they? Mintero, Maribel, Todd Hill Creek and all those places, you know.
And if someone bred a litter of pups, they turned up all over the place, didn't they? They all got one.
Yeah, they did. And, you know, they only bred from their own and they still bred a tough dog.
Well, you won an Adelaide Cup with Kinrock, was it?
No, that was
Kinross?
Gabione.
Oh, Gabione,
yeah,
okay.
And that was in 59. Laurie and I both own that.
Right, so you won an Adelaide Cup in 59 and you won one later with Brookside Bear.
2001, yeah. Long time.
What happened in between?
I came second, actually, to Dreaming Ruth in 1964. That was held at, not Campbelltown, Theberton.
Theberton Oval, yeah. There's a constant circle there.
It was, and they never really got a chance to get going.
I remember I had one that ran wide one day and it ended up running into a tap and it skinned its hind leg.
Yeah, a bit of that went on, didn't it? Yeah.
But it was amazing what people did back then to keep the game going.
Yeah, it was right, and I think a lot of credit should be given to Ross Mitchell, who really, really got this show on the road here. He was the one that went and saw the members of Parliament, and the members of Parliament were tied to the old coursing people, and the coursing people were against greyhound racing on the track, as you know.
They didn't want it because they thought it would be the end of coursing, and they were right.
Yeah, well, it was. Well, I think the tree huggers were the end of coursing, you know,
yeah,
but you know, that's what happened, and Ross just knocked down all those barriers and did so well.
And McMurdo was his right-hand man.
Exactly, and him and Harold Goodwin and Howard Ashton and all that, they did it well. Got it through Parliament. Dave McKee put the bill in, and I remember when it was in the upper house, it was looking pretty tight, and they were trying to get extended liquor hours, and Dave McKee sent the message upstairs, no dog, no grog.
So there was the deal done.
That was the deal
Good
done.
on Dave McKee. Yeah. You went to America training dogs. We probably haven't got enough time to talk about that at the moment, but we should talk about the 3 dogs you've got in work at the moment. You only keep a few as a hobby.
I only keep 2 or 3, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're all out of the same litter, and they look as though they can all run, although punters aren't talking all that nicely about Panic at the moment.
I don't blame them. Look, I think he'll finish up like Stack and Flat and finish up in Victoria where they've got long straights. Yeah. Because, you know, the horseshoe bends at Horsham would help him, and Stack and Flat's done very well since it's gone over there. Sandown's another good track for it, you know.
I noticed with Panic that he's getting a bit frightened on the first turn. He's been hit that many times. Yeah. He's a slow beginner, big dog, but he can run.
Yeah, he come home in 12.67 last week, you know, and he's only got to get a bit of a clear run, and as they get up in grade, sometimes that helps them a bit because there's not as much trouble coming.
Maybe a run over 600 just to boost the confidence?
Sure. When we get these juveniles out the way, because they're not 2 until the end of February, we get them out the way, that'll be definitely something you'll be going on for.
Well, what about the other one? We know, of course, Keep Looking as one of few and is pacey. Cease to Panic's the third one.
Yeah, he's showed a lot more up the straight track. He won the Derby and the Rising Star, beat Panic in both finals. He's a bit injured at the moment with a metacarpal problem, but we're just taking our time with him. But he shows blistering speed, but bad box manners again, you know, and I don't know how you cure that.
I was only reminiscing the other day when you still do fly light planes, but when we took a dog called Saul to Port Augusta for the opening meeting, and he won the maiden, and he was a top grade dog, and I think he won. He was about 7-2 or something, and you flew the punters and the dog.
And the dog, yeah. I did 4 or 5 trips to Whyalla and Perry and Port Augusta, and a lot of them, Tony Self came over with a dog called Slick Henry and won a lot of money. Very lucky to win it, and on the way back in the plane he said, I told you to win. Should never have won, you know, but Tony was still counting the money when we landed.
And you're still flying now?
Yeah, I do angel flights a little bit.
Which is fantastic. Terry gives up his own time to fly kids to hospitals and special places all over Australia, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's and quite enjoyable. You know, I mean, you know, you're doing putting something back in at the end of it all. You know.
And I see you're at McLaren Vale.
Yes.
So I've got this picture of you in a hammock amongst the grapevine somewhere.
I've got the hammock and got the grapevines, but I'm not in the hammock very often.
Good luck to you, Terry. So your advice is stay with Panic because he'll iron the problems out. Keep looking to win a few more.
Yeah.
And when you get Cease to Panic sound, it might be the best of all.
I hope so. Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Terry Carlin has been our guest on In the Box Seat, and one of our veteran trainers, though he still doesn't look like a veteran. He's fit as a Mallee bull, and I'm sure he's in the game for a lot longer. To find out more about what's happening in greyhound racing, just go to grsa.com.au and stay in touch.